morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let's get this going here. So, let me post the tweets out. Let's get her popping. All right, so guys, first thing you're gonna notice is my face is not on camera today. Just a little sick, and I look like complete shit. So, not gonna be on camera, but you're gonna hear my amazing voice, and we'll kind of get it going here. As usual, we'll wait till about 8:35. We'll wait 5 minutes for everyone to kind of tune in here. Once everyone does tune in, we'll get started. All right, Dali, my man, what's going on? Mia, good morning. Hillian, good morning. Sky, good morning. What's going on? Aman, what's going on, my man? Good morning. Mr. Needham, good morning. Sunil, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Jamarcus, what's going on, man? Good morning. Jason, good morning. What's going on with Neo and Hood? Good morning to you too. Emma, good morning. I feel better, bro. Thank you. Will do. Don, good morning. All right, let's wait. Let's get everybody up here. I kind of hate that I don't have the camera up, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. Mr. Needham, hope you feel better. Thank you. Bilkis, good morning. Daniel, good morning. Menti, good morning. Prash, good morning. Satch, what's going on? Bruce, good morning. Mar, good morning. Damn, everybody's pouring in here. Love to see people saying good morning, man. It's probably the first thing that you can say to brighten someone's day. Nemo, good morning. Alika, good morning. Oscar, good morning. Biru, what's up, my man? Puma Suede, good morning. Jen, good morning. Asaba, thank you. Desiree, good morning. Good morning. Demon, good morning. Jen, how about a couple of lottos? Lotto. Spy open down. Spy is currently opening up for now. We still have an hour until market opens here. Ilias, good morning. First time here. Love to have you. Usually there's a camera here, but today I am a little sick, so I am not putting the camera up. I'm a little camera shy when I'm not looking all pretty. Ro, good morning. G5, my man, what's going on? Good morning. All right, guys, we got about a minute here before we get started. If you guys are tuning in here nice and early, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Go ahead and smash that like button so we can get this thing going here. And once we hit 8:35, we'll get it started. Good morning. Gotta give it to you, man. You are one of the most consistent traders in Discord I've come across. Keep up the good stuff. Thank you, Quentin. Appreciate it, man. Jane, good morning. John, good morning. Nice. We're getting a few more people coming in here. Sung, good morning. Alright guys, it's 8:35. Let's get it started here. Obviously, first and foremost, we start with the Qs and the SPY, and what are we really looking at, right? Obviously, these crazy candles, lots of volatility in the market last few days, not really stable, gapping up, gapping down. And on the 20th, we had this nice gap down, and we put in a little bit of a bullish candle here, essentially. You know, we sold off, we had buyers kind of step up at these levels again, and we pushed up and we closed green, right? On that day, quite a few people were actually eager and happy at that point, because we have this bullish candle put in. If we were able to break above this 455.40 in the future session, we could essentially pop up and fill this little gap. And what happened? We essentially did that. We opened right here. We sold off to kind of try and close as much of that gap as possible, and then we pushed all the way back up, and here we are today. All right, where we're sitting at today is pretty close into this resistance area, which we've rejected a few times. Right, let me get my handy dandy pen thing. I always forget I have this, but I'm gonna pull it up here and hopefully I can use it to show you. So we can see that we rejected here, we rejected here and closed under this level here. We rejected here, right? And then we struggled here again. All right, so that is the areas that we're kind of monitoring. So now let's take a look at the closer time frames and see what levels we need to kind of pay attention to. I'm going to put up all my levels here again, and here we go. This is what we're looking at here on the intraday levels, guys. All right, so this 469.52 is that level to kind of monitor here. All right, there's going to be lots of resistance in this area. The 469.50, the 470.65 area is going to be a lot of resistance here, simply because, like I showed you guys, we have all this selling pressure that's kind of taking place up here, right? So if we pop back up here and we fail to get above this level, then we can actually roll back over again. All right, so let's get back to the closer time frame. Those levels are 469.50 and 470.65. All right, we need to clear these two levels in order for us to be out of the water. All right, if we do clear these two levels, we could see a push to this 472. This 472 area is actually in an area, there's a pivot right here at 472. We can hit that, clear that. We have 473.54, and here is when it starts getting really interesting, and we have to kind of assess what we're really going to do here at this level. All right, but if we get to this level, next one above that is you're looking at 476. And that would be pretty awesome if we actually get there today. But given that we had such a nice run from the lows, let's go back to the daily chart. We've moved all the way from 450 all the way to this 470 area. I definitely expect some sort of consolidation or sideways or something to kind of happen here. But if we do get above this 470.65, 469 level, great. Let's see that push to the 473 and possibly the 476. I'm all for it. Let's do that. All right, next, let's take a look at the Qs. What do we see here, guys? So the Qs, a similar look with that gap down, pushing up last 3 days, but we still have a lot of resistance that we need to clear on the Qs, right? Let's take a look at some of the levels on the Qs. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame here. All right, so for the Qs, what we're looking for today is we need to maintain above the 395 in order to move higher. All right, if we get above the 395, if we stay above the 394.50, actually 394.50, we should see that push to the 396.32. Right, if we get to the 396.32, we see some resistance here. Above this level, we're looking at 398 and then the 399. Right, now let's go back to the daily and see where those levels fall. The 399 comes up to this area of congestion. Similar idea to what happened with the SPY. We have this area of congestion here that we failed to kind of get above, right? Right here, we are seeing resistance. In this area right here, we're seeing resistance. In this area right here, we're seeing resistance. And that is lining up with our figure right here at 399.50. All right, so those are the levels to kind of monitor on the Qs on the upside. Now let's take a look at the downside. I know I missed the downside on the SPY. We'll address that in a second here. If we fail to get above the 394.59, we're going to sell off to this 393.50 level, right? Why? It's clear support. We have some resistance here. We have now, it's acting as support. If we lose this 393.56, we're going to come down to the 392.50 and ultimately this 389.40, 389.20 level. Why? Because you can tell it was resistance before, resistance, resistance, resistance. Excuse me. And then once it broke out, it started acting as support. So if we lose these two levels, we could see that yank back down to the 389.20 level. All right, let's go back to the SPY really quickly and talk about the downside. Here we go again. You can see this clear rejection here at this 469. Now getting a little bit of a sell-off here in the market. What are the levels to the downside that we're looking at? Well, this 467.30 is going to be the first area that we need to watch for support. Under that, we're looking at 466 and then 465.13. All right. Ultimately, we could see a pull down to the 464 level, but don't want us to go that low. But let's see how this works. These are the levels to the downside. Need to get back above the 469.50 and the 470 if we're going to continue bullish. If not, we could roll over to the 467 area, which is our next support, and then 466, 465.13. All right. With that said, we're going to get into I posted a few free alerts on Twitter. We're going to discuss that, and then after that, I'll take your questions that you guys may have. All right. So on cost, so it's gapping up a little bit here. Ideally, I want this over the 550. If we kind of gap down and then push back up to the trigger level of the 550, then we can kind of see this track up higher to the 552 and then ultimately the 559. All right. Now, if this thing loses the 545 level, which is right around right here, if we lose the 545 level, then we're going to see that flush back down to the 537. All right. So you're looking at calls over 550 and you're looking at puts under 545. All right. Now, a lot of people ask me again, how do you take these? What's the way to kind of trade these? One way to kind of understand how you guys can do this is give yourself, first thing that I like to do is set your trigger points, right? With a price line. That's with a price line. So right there and then 545, okay, right here. So at the first 5 minutes, if this thing comes up close to it or it's about to trigger, I take the trade. If the trade is happening in the first 5-10 minutes, I take the trade as it comes. I try to get a good fill and I'll try to take that momentum drive to the upside. Most of the moves happen in the first 10-15 minutes, but that puts you up for a lot of risk as well. Because you could very well push up, reject, and sell back down, right? So if the trade is happening in the first 5-10 minutes, I initiate it right out of the get-go. I don't wait for a pullback or anything. I take the trade right out of the get-go. Sorry guys, excuse me. Now, if the trade has, taken a few time, time has passed, it's about maybe 35 minutes to an hour into the market, then what you're going to want is, let's say the trigger level is at 550, time has went on, the market has kind of opened, and we're sitting here now, and market, it's around 10:30 a.m. What you're going to want, and what the safest thing to do is, wait for the breakout and the retest, and then take the entry right here, okay? And then you can kind of take this for the higher move up. So that's what you're looking at if it's in the first, if the time has passed and an hour has passed. If it's in the first 5 minutes and the stock kind of creeps up, I take the trade right there and I take this move for the move up here and then hopefully continuation higher. All right. So hopefully that answers a few of your questions. I know a lot of people are still confused about how to take these alerts. All right. Next one on the list is AMD. What are we looking at with AMD? Well, AMD is still showing clear resistance right here at these levels, right? Showing clear resistance at these levels. And what I'm looking for on AMD is calls over 145. If we can get over the 145 level, I'll take calls. Again, first 5 minutes out of the gates, I'll take it without hesitation. Now, if we come down under the 144, then I'm looking to buy puts because the momentum might kind of be killed here and we might roll back over and try to test these lows of yesterday. All right. So 145, looking to buy calls. Under the 144, I'm looking to buy puts on that one. Next one on the list is Roblox. Roblox here, I'm looking for 104, this 104 level right here, right? And your downside move is 101, right? I just want to clear this 200 moving average and at least this congestion area that we had yesterday. If we do that, we could see the sell-off, right? So with Roblox, under that 101 level, we should see the downside move. Over the 104, we should plow and continue higher. At the 101 level, we should come down and sell off, all right? So anything in between, I won't really touch it, but looking for the 104 for the long side and the 101 for the downside. All right, so now I'm gonna jump into chat here, guys. If you guys are still here, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button before I get into any of these tickers. And if you guys are asking me questions about your tickers, make sure you guys don't just put ticker question mark, put ticker question mark what you want to do with it. Are you looking to day trade it, short-term trade it, swing it, long-term it? Let me know what you're thinking so I can answer the question a lot better. Elon said he's not done selling. So what do you think about Tesla? I really don't think Tesla's price action has anything to do with Elon selling, to be honest with you. I think the market has kind of pulled back a little bit, you know, with the fact that Tesla, I mean, Elon is selling, it is putting a little bit of a pressure on Tesla, but this move here is not because Elon is selling, and this pump here is just, we've hit support. We hit support at 900 and buyers stepped up. You know, it's just the way the markets work. He understands how his stock functions. He has people who are in this business who tell him, who are technical analysis, and say, hey, you know, we hit that 400 area, which we broke out of months ago. Right here, this prior high here was an area that we broke out of with massive volume, and now we're coming back into it. Maybe you should put a tweet out and, you know, try to pump the stock. This is all, it's all like clockwork, okay? What Elon does and what happens on Twitter is absolutely irrelevant to me. I don't care about it. I trade my levels. I look for patterns. That's it. I don't care if Elon's done selling. I don't care if Elon's brother is still selling or he bought shares. I don't give a rat's ass. I trade the charts. I look at patterns. I look at my support and resistance lines. I make a decision based on the chart and not based on what someone is manipulating and forcing down my throat. Next one, PFE inflation. PFE inflation up 5.7 year over year. Oh, PCE. Got it. Jobless claims 205. Yes, I saw that. Link for the Discord should be in the description if you're interested in there. View on AMD call for 150. So I think I spoke about AMD. Excuse me. If it gets over the 145, it should continue higher. Again, sorry guys, I'm sick and my throat's acting up. Not sure why. Looking to get into puts on SPY if I see a push into the 471, 474 pocket for a week out expiration date. What are you thinking? So you're saying that if we get into the 474 area, 471, 474, you're looking to buy puts. If this move up happens fluidly and we do come into this resistance, you could try puts and having stops right above that 474 area. Yeah, that would work. I mean, it is a move that's being extended now to the upside. So if we do come into this resistance area, we could see some sell-off, but it's not going to be something that's going to fluidly flush down. You might get a few points drop on it. Give this man some life, people. Appreciate it. How do you create or select the watch list stocks? I have a few videos on YouTube that I discuss how I come up with my watch list and what I look for. It is on YouTube. If you can't find it, shoot me a message on Twitter and I'll send it over to you. Someone is asking about Abbott. Abbott long over 140. Nice strong move on Abbott here. Let's see. Let's take a look. Long over 140. Yeah, the 140 move is not bad. So it has some resistance here in the pre-market at 140. It looks like that's the level it's kind of at. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. All right, so we have some resistance here at the 140. The thing with Abbott is it doesn't really move very much. I don't really like the price action on Abbott. You know, obviously yesterday it had a pretty nice move, about a $3 move, which is not ideal for Abbott. But over the 140, it could push. You do have some resistance at 1490, which is a fib resistance level, and then you have your 142 areas. Okay, so your levels that you're kind of looking at is probably around 1490 and then 142. right? So keep an eye on those levels if you do take that call over the 140 level. FCX and AA calls for a swing trade. FCX just triggered over this nice little reversal here on FCX. Has room to this 4160. Yeah, you could kind of swing this, but again, like I said, I'm not really in. The market's not really in a position for me to swing anything right now. But FCX doesn't look too bad. If it pops back down to this 39.75, 39.60 level, you could buy calls and try to fill this pocket to the upside. Have your stops right under this 38 level in case it decides to roll over. AA calls, this one's a little extended. You might have to wait for a pullback or consolidation before getting into swings on this one. But it's gone from 43 all the way up to 60. So a big move has already taken place. Need some sort of consolidation, falling wedge, some sort of pattern before you jump into this one. What are your thoughts on Nvidia to the upside and calls on day trade? Nvidia, let's take a look. Let's take a look at, well, first of all, let's take a look at the daily. Our daily is coming into resistance here. There's 20 moving average at 296. This 296 area is going to be some moving average resistance. Over that, it does have a nice little pocket that it can fill into on the daily. All right, so as always, guys, start from the top down. Start from the daily and work your way down to the closer time frame. All right, let's take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia, actually, you can clearly see that there's some resistance right here on Nvidia at this level right here. Right, there's 298.30 level, there's some resistance. There's actually a pivot point right here as well. So what are we looking at here? Ideally, you would want this to get above that 298.30, right? We saw on the daily there was resistance at the 296, right, which was that 20 moving average, which we saw resistance at here yesterday. And look what's happening. We popped up and we're kind of trying to use that as support now, okay? For calls, you need to get Nvidia up above 298, and then over that, it should see a push to that 304 level. Okay. MGM 46 call. Let's take a look at MGM. Not sure if you want to swing this, but so lots of these reopening and airline names have continued higher here. 46 is an area of resistance on MGM, right? 46, 46.20 is an area of resistance. I wouldn't buy calls up here. It's coming into resistance here. You really need to clear this 46.20 in order to try to fill this pocket move right here, right? But currently, this is at resistance. If you start buying calls up here, you risk coming into this area and rejecting. So possibly wait for this 46.22, 46 level to break to the upside, and then look for your calls then. BAC, I have 45 calls for today. What do you suggest? I am in red. What do I suggest? Well, I gotta ask you, why did you buy the calls, right? That's the first thing you gotta ask yourself. Why did you buy the calls? To me, there's really nothing here. We lost the 20 and the 50 moving average. We're coming straight down. There's really no reversal pattern here. There's no breakout of trend. There's really nothing showing me that this was ready for a call. So I wouldn't have bought calls here. It's still fighting this area of the 20 moving average. Even if we get back above this through 45.36 level, we have resistance at the 45.90. It's a name that moves very slowly. I really don't see any reason why you would have bought calls here. But maybe you have a reason. Let me know and we'll kind of discuss that. Daku for a gap fill. Take a look at Daku. Yeah, Daku for a gap fill is okay, but needs to get above 163.70. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch it. Daku needs to get back above the 163.70 for a gap fill. Hold or take loss ZM 202.50 call January 7, 2022. So here's another one. Let's take a look at ZM. Why did you buy calls? Why are you buying calls and why are you swinging it? What was your game plan here? Was your game plan this double bottom? If it broke over this 198.57, if that was your game plan, great. It pushed up, but you ultimately have to get stopped out because the move didn't withhold. The move didn't hold that prior neckline break, so you should be out of the trade. What's the game plan now? I mean, this really has to consolidate sideways, flag in order to make a new move higher. To me, this move of yours that you're in would kind of be done if this 176 level breaks. But we're already sitting at 193, and you know, you're not going to give yourself that much room for this to drop down to 173, right? So give it a little bit more time. I think if it loses that 190 level, it could try to come back and test this 176. You guys have to wait for better setups and patterns to take swing trades. All right, you can't just blindly jump into a swing trade and say, okay, well, I'm going to take this long. Marvel double bottom to all-time highs. Let's take a look at Marvel. Don't really see a double bottom here, but I would want this over that 89 level. If we get over the 89.90, great, we can possibly see a push to this 92 level. But I don't see a double bottom on the daily here. We need to get above the 89 level, and then we can move into that 92.27 pocket. Sorry, man, joined later. Is this going to be recorded and posted so I can watch it later? Yes, it will be recorded and posted on YouTube. Mara Bitcoin miners are still bullish. Mara. So, I mean, they're under all their moving averages, so technically they're not bullish at all anymore in regards to the miners. What we do have is an area of support here on Mara, but again, lots of resistance overhead and no reversal indication happening here on the daily. Not interested in swinging this at all, only looking for daily levels and triggers to kind of trade this for the day trade aspect. Otherwise, if we lose this 30-40 level, right, we can very easily come back down to this area of 26-24. I would be patient with Mara. I wouldn't put any money into it at the moment. Appreciate you guys giving me some health advice on what to eat, what to drink. Thank you guys. Asking for 2 years. Oh, Dally, you the best. Moss, $38 move to the upside. Tell me how it looks to you. Moss. This already sounds like oh, Moss doesn't look too bad here actually. We're in this little pocket, right? I mean, I hope by now that you guys have been following me, you really understand what pockets are. We have this little nice pocket that we're in, and it does have room to continue up to this 39.90 area, right? But it's currently sitting at 38.96, so half of the move is already done. We might have a little bit more room over the 39.60 level if we take a look at the intraday time frame. If you get over this 39.60, 39.40, sorry, 39.40 level, you should see the push to the 39.90. But to me, chasing a few cents here and there is not really worth it for a day trade. What do you think about puts on XOP? This is gas ETF. Again, I don't really see a bearish setup here. We hit the 200 moving average and we bounced off of it, right? Maybe, you know, as it's coming into this 20 moving average, you could try puts on it. But again, I'm a type of guy that I won't force things just because, you know, I have a personal opinion about it. I need a pattern on the daily to show me something that's bearish. I don't really see a bearish pattern here. The bearish pattern, you know, you have a double top, you have an H, you have, you know, a rising wedge. You need to have some sort of a bearish pattern to buy puts, and I just don't see it here on XOP. I see just a few measly likes. Come on, guys. Yeah, guys, smash the like button. There's 150 of you in here, and there's only 50 likes. Smash the like button. CCL calls. So yesterday we played RCL. You know, even, or was it? Yeah, yesterday exactly. We played RCL. But I also mentioned to everybody that airlines and cruise ships and reopening names are starting to do well. This was notable on you know, Monday when we opened and everything was kind of going sideways. Airlines and cruise ships and everything started running, right? Now 3 days in, do you really want to continue buying calls up here? The risk to reward is not really worth it for me. I would kind of be a little bit hesitant on buying calls, especially if you're going to swing them for a day trade, possibly for a quick move. But other than that, I wouldn't really be trying to hold on to these things any longer than they already have. They went from like 17 all the way up to 21, so a big chunk of the move has already happened here as well. The Yeet, my man, what's going on? Sorry if we touched on this. Wondering if you approach prep and entry differently for small, mid, and mega caps. If you stick to your stuff. Honestly, most of the tickers I trade, they're often above the $50 mark, and the strategy doesn't change. You know, if it's within the first 5 minutes, I'm always, you know, taking the trigger. I just believe in my setup so much that, you know, once that trigger level comes, I'm into the trade. I don't hesitate. And, you know, obviously there's times where I do get smoked out of the gates, but it is what it is. I'm right more than I am wrong, so I'm willing to take that risk. But the setup doesn't change, and I don't really trade anything under like $10 or in that regard. So hopefully that answers your question, my man. All right, guys, so it's coming up to 9 o'clock here. It actually is 9:01, so I got to get back to the Discord, get ready for the market open. But if I miss any of your questions, or if you guys want to message me on Twitter or Discord, I'll take a look at it if I did miss your messages here. But appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Have yourself a wonderful holiday. And we'll catch you guys again next week, same time here at 8:30 a.m. I go live every Thursday, and we'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.